Did you guys know that Ed and Lorraine Warren investigated a werewolf? Bill Ramsey was raised in Essex and until the age of 9 had a completely normal life until something happened to him that would change his life forever. He described a cold feeling coming over him so icy that it froze the sweat on his skin, followed by a horrific stench that made him sick. While in this state, he began to have visions of running away and living a life alone on the beach, as well as visions of wolves. The sound of his mother calling out his name broke him out of this trance, but then he went on an adrenaline fueled rampage, ripping a fence post straight out of the ground and then beginning to chew on the wire mesh that held the fence together. This terrified his parents so much that they hid inside until he eventually calmed down. For the next 15 years of Bill's life, he never had an experience like this again. He got married, had 3 kids, and lived a pretty normal life until he began having horrible, repeated nightmares. He described these nightmares as him walking a few steps behind his wife, then to have her turn around, look at him in horror, scream, and then run away. He would always wake up in an icy sweat. Eventually, these dreams would subside, but his life would not go back to normal. One night, he was awoken from the guttural breathing sounds of what he thought was a wild animal in his bedroom until he realized that the breathing was him. One night, when he was out at a bar with friends, he began to feel that icy feeling coming over him again. He locked himself in the bathroom, and when he looked in the mirror, he claimed to see a wolf looking back at him. On the way home from this bar, he began growling and scratching and attacking the designated driver, only coming back to his senses when he was eventually forced out of the car. Around Christmas time, he went to the hospital believing that he might be having a heart attack, where he went into a feral state where he bit a nurse and had to be subdued by several staff members. They described him as having a hunched back, fingers that curled into claws, and was growling like an animal. Another incident where he went to the hospital, the same thing happened and he had to be subdued by several police officers. One night, while performing a citizen's arrest on a teenage prostitute, he began attacking a police officer and strangling him, which required 12 other police officers to jump on him to subdue him. He considered checking himself into some sort of mental health facility, but the stigma that would come with it discouraged him. This is around the time that Ed and Lorraine Warren would see his story on TV and decided to go visit him in the UK, thinking that this might be a demonic possession case. They convinced him to come back to Connecticut with them to undergo an exorcism, which would trigger a full transformation into his werewolf form, but the exorcism itself was unsuccessful. They encouraged him to receive an exorcism from a specialist they knew, and the night before he was set to undergo this, he tried to strangle his wife. The second exorcism was apparently successful as he fully transformed into his wolf form, but then never transformed again. His last public appearance was in 1992, and there have not been any recorded incidents since then. What do you guys think of this case? Let me know down below.